Hi Gemini, welcome to your October 2018 Tarot and Astrology reading. Thank you for all your likes and subscriptions. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And let's see what we've got for Gemini this month. So, first and foremost, the fifth house energy, the romantic energy, the fun energy, the creative energy, feeling more creative with your hobbies, with your approaches, with your mind, with your decisions. You're feeling that sense of creativity. And with creativity comes artistic differences when we have Venus retrograding in the sign of Scorpio, which is your house of work and health. You know, your day-to-day work, your day-to-day activities, and your day-to-day decisions, the little decisions that make up the bigger picture. So there may be some disagreements within your, possibly with a fire sign, as I'm seeing here. Maybe with a figurehead of authority, maybe a Leo, maybe an Aries, or maybe a Sagittarius could be problematic to you during the retrograde period. Maybe you're having differences in opinion with that person already. We have a new moon in your romantic sector on the 9th of October, which brings you a chance to clearly decide on what type of person you want to be with, what type of personality you want to have, what type of person that you want to enter your life romantically if you don't have anyone, or what it is that you want your romantic relationships to look like. It's a good time to start fresh for those of you that are recently single or have been single a while. It's a good time to start fresh with fresh romantic energy. Don't forget though that Venus retrograding in Scorpio might delay a few of these manifestations. Actually, overall, Gemini, I think a lot of us have felt delayed in many aspects because of Mars retrograding, Venus retrograding, and then Mercury's going to retrograde again the day that Venus goes direct. And Pluto was retrograding, Saturn was retrograding. It's been a bit heavy this year, which is why there's been so much chaos and so little reward, is one way I would think some people may view the situations going on at the moment. The Empress, so we have Venus making an appearance. The Hierophant, wow, okay. The Devil. The Lovers. Oh my goodness, we have... they're all major arcana. Wow. How did that happen? This is funny. This is how you know that tarot and the skies connect so well. The Lovers has come out in the challenge position for so many signs. That is because Venus, planet of love, is retrograding. What's underneath? The Three of Cups. Okay, so we have... some minor in here. Well, Gemini, it looks like love is taking center stage. At least your relationships are. But so is power. Love and power. Big, big, big themes. Now, I want to look at the differences between what's, the helpful energy, which is the Devil, and the Lovers being the challenge. Now, I want to say I think that came up for Scorpio as well. I don't know, maybe some of you have that in your chart or you're dealing with one. And the thing about the Devil is that he's sort of a lustful energy. He's a powerful energy, but he's not necessarily well-intentioned. And I think, as is always the case with Venus retrograding, a lot of people write about how more casual or alternative relationships are favored during this time. It's not the time to, get heavy. Yet, it's also the time when we clear up past relationships or people walk into our lives again. We get second chances. It's an interesting and unusual time for everybody. And it looks no different for you. But one thing that I want to make clear from this is with the Star card. It looked exciting. Now, the Hierophant is in your hopes and fears, so maybe some of you are really keen to meet the person that you marry. Maybe some of you are worried about never getting married. I could see with the Devil card here, some of you are definitely attracting people that are more fun in the short term. They're not the type of people that you would date for a long time. And the Empress in the current position suggests that you're definitely coming across attractive, Gemini. You're coming across with your fair pick. Especially with the Three of Cups, you're going into a social butterfly mode, as you would do whenever the Sun and the New Moon are in your 5th house, which is that fun, creative energy. And it's one of the best times of the year, I think, for any sign, whenever the Sun coasts through their 5th house. It's fun. The Devil, though, in the positive... his positive influence above everything else is that he knows he's powerful. But there's an air of indifference comes from him. So be mindful, and don't shoot the messenger in this, Gemini. That's a phrase you know well. But be mindful of people not being the knight in shining armors that they may appear to be. Venus retrograde does that. People aren't always as they seem. They're a lot of fun under that transit, but it can be not something that looks so good once Venus goes direct. Or it may not be something that necessarily lasts so well when Venus goes direct either. Some of you with the Devil card here may have been dealing with people that are pathological liars or narcissists, and because he's in the positive position, it may be that you've finally gotten rid of someone like that, and you're wondering, when am I going to meet somebody else? But the Lovers makes you feel like you actually don't have options. So some of you are embracing the 5th house energy, and those of you that have been a little bit daunted by somebody like this may be feeling a bit of a lack. I do sense with Judgment here, you're having a... Because this is what this looks like. The Empress is Venus, right? I mean, that's the Venus symbol here. Judgment is Scorpio, so Venus and Scorpio right here is doing a clear out for you. Some of these people are getting released, and for the better. For the better, of course. That's why the Devil's here. Your hopes and fears. Some of you fear commitment and are hoping for something lighthearted, and some of you fear something lighthearted and are hoping for something committed. 4 of Swords. You're taking time away from something that's too much. Obsessive. Maybe an obsessive partner. The Lovers and the 10 of Pentacles is the challenge. So stability is your challenge. You're going to have to learn to go with the ebbs and flows, which is kind of easy for a Gemini, I must say. But there's hope here, and there's positive news coming through in the form of work. And love relationships are definitely taking center stage with this 2 of Cups underneath. Some of you are seeing the rebirth of a person who, well, as I say, was a lot of fun, but maybe wasn't necessarily committal. And maybe with this aspect, you're enjoying them more under the Venus retrograding sky. I think it might be because they make a grand entrance and they're exciting. It's an exciting time and you're not thinking too far ahead. But the cards do warn you that you may find this person a little bit addictive. So it may be the time to keep your blinkers on. I do see a relationship in here for some of you that really isn't going to go very far. That's just because of the Lovers and the 10 of Pentacles. I don't know that it's stable. But it's fun. The Devil in the positive position is fun. Some of you are taking a break from relationships. I do think some of you are out of a very long-term one, possibly. And some of you might be coming out of a long-term one because Venus does destroy the relationships that aren't strong. Even the relationships that are the strongest get a few hiccups along the way under this transit. So you've been warned. But there's hope. And that's the thing about the star, regardless of your situation. When it comes up in the outcome position, it's a pretty positive... It's a pretty positive outlook. It's having hope in the situation, having renewed hope and renewed faith, Gemini. With the Empress in Judgment, some of you might be calling time on some of the female relationships in your life, or hearing from somebody out of the blue. That's Judgment, actually. That is Judgment. That is somebody returning. Oh my goodness, it really is. The Six of Cups. Wow. Okay, so yeah, there's somebody returning here. Now, actually, for some of you, it's not romantic. Some of you, it's your mother. Maybe something comes out about your mother. Your mother confides something in you. You gain contact with her again. So the Empress can mean, but for most of you, I think this is somebody, as we know with Venus retrograding, somebody returning with an offer. This Knight of Swords. I actually think for some of you there could be something disguised as a commitment. Just saying. Page of Cups. Okay, so we do have the Eight of Swords in the challenge position. Oh. The Hermit. Somebody amongst you is hearing from an old lover. And I think it's quite possibly a big one. And I suspect it may have been somebody. Now, this is just, bear in mind, before you bite my head off in the comments, because a lot of people do when it comes to the Venus retrograding thing, because it typically does mean people from our past return. They can come up in every shape or form. It doesn't necessarily have to be the person you're thinking of. But some of you could be hearing from somebody where there was a very strong difference in how the relationship was going to play out. Both wanted a very different outcome, and I think that's why there was a separation. To me, it looks like they're coming through with an offer. And it might seem bigger than it is. And that's why I want you to be cautious that you don't read too much into what they're actually saying. You know, listen to them clearly. Because I feel a little bit like it could go both ways. It could be that they're promising you more than you're acknowledging, as in you're not listening to them. Or it could be that they've not promised you anything concrete and you're taking it as they have. Just bear in mind, Gemini, Venus retrograding can do that to people. They can get the wrong end of the stick, or they can get the wrong end of the Ace of Swords. And if you get the wrong end of the Ace of Swords, you get cut. You know, it's sharp. And your fear is in your detriment. So your fear with the Lovers here of not having anybody could leave you in pain. Or it could influence your decision to accept less than you deserve. Or your fear of this person hurting you again could lead to a rejection. But one thing I want to point out that's above all else in this reading, Gemini, is that you're getting some very distinctive conversation. For those of you that are writers, it's a great time to write. It's a great time to channel things. It's a great time to channel your opinions and your voice and make money out of it. Because with Venus, well, with Mercury being in Scorpio, as I say, 6th house energy, you can make your words into money. Your day-to-day work. You will find talking as well very good for your health. I mean, Geminis talk a lot. So, well, most do. Maybe not all. I've never known one that doesn't, but sure. You will find release in having a conversation of some sort here. And this has come up for a lot of the signs, so I'm sort of mindful of the overlap here. It's come up for a few people, this conversation, and that is because Venus loves to bring back something that you didn't have closure on. And it give you your voice back. But as I say, depending on how you approach this, you may get the wrong end of the sword. Now, the Star card suggests that there's this like pang of hope. There's this wish fulfillment. This is something you've wanted. And you're hearing from someone who I imagine with the Devil and the Page of Wands, they're very powerful people. Or they have a very powerful command over their language. They know how to use the right words without outright lying, but that their words can be misinterpreted, so that they sometimes can leave you in that ambiguity and do a bit of a dance around your emotions. And this might have been what's left you hurt before, Gemini. That's what I'm sort of seeing here. On the contrary, if this is the other way around, if it's been you, because it very well could be with the Devil card here, if it's been you that was the non-committal one, you might suddenly have a moment where you're afraid you've lost the person. You know, maybe some of you have messed somebody around because you've had romantic partners, and then when push comes to shove, you think they're moving on. It doesn't work for you. You're like, but that was my person. It goes both ways. I mean, these are just general messages, Gemini. So, as I say, it can go either or, but you could be hearing from an Aquarius person very specifically, if I want to be that way. And it could be somebody who's quite vain. One thing I want to also point out, Gemini, is if you're, because this is Venus retrograding, and I just want to say this because I see this, the Four of Swords and the Devil and the Star, and I sort of think if you're planning to get a very drastic haircut or Botox or something in your face, you know, some sort of cosmetic procedure, don't do it under a Venus retrograde period. Think about it. You can think about it till the cows come home, whatever, but don't actually do it. Might not come out as you wanted it to, or at the very least you may change your mind about wanting it. Do you know what I mean? That's just a Venus retrograde aspect of things. But I sense this is very much that there's a call out of the blue, and then suddenly somebody's back. Judgment and the Six of Cups is this return of somebody, and it's quite quick. With the Knight of Swords, somebody's back to talk. And you might think they're back for the long haul, and they might not. Or you might think they're only in for a brief visit, but they're in it for the long haul. Either way, you have that conversation with the Ace of Swords. You have that actual clarity by the end of October. And Venus is still going to be retrograding up until the 16th of November, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Also, we're going to address the full moon in your 12th house, Taurus, at the end of the month, in the mid-monthlies as well, because I didn't touch on it much here. I mean, the moon didn't come up, so it's not something we have to talk about just yet. This is all happening quite quick, I think. Something that you thought had vanished seems to reappear. So, I don't think for anybody this has really been the biggest brand new person that you've been hoping for. I mean, actually, to be fair, Gemini, I mean, the Page of Cups is here. There could be a love offer coming in. I feel very strongly with Judgment and the Six of Cups. It's hard to compete against the past in this reading, but it could be somebody new and somebody fun, as I say. I'm not so sure about the long haul, but you can't look that far ahead all the time. So I'm going to draw a Goddess Guidance card, Gemini, to get the overall picture. Bright future. That looks pretty good with the star. Stop worrying. Everything's going to be fine. So you're good. You're good, Gemini. Inner wisdom. You know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. So you'll have the answers by the end of the month, Gemini. And things will start looking a lot brighter. To be honest, your outcome cards are pretty bright. The star especially twinkling there. Page of Wands is usually good news, and the Ace of Swords is that breakthrough victory with a situation that you've been hoping to get. Some of you that are going through a hard time and you're hoping for things to turn around, you think you missed an offer, you didn't, it's coming back. That can be in love or career. Something that you wanted, a missed opportunity returns. And so does somebody. So I hope you enjoyed that reading, Gemini, and I will see you in the mid-monthlies. Bye-bye.